This is our land, this is our time. No chains can hold a heart so wild. We rise, we fight, we take our stand for Scotland's future hand in hand. No more waiting, no more fear. The truth is loud, the choice is clear. A nation proud, a people free. Scotland's fate is up to we. From the mountains to the shore, we dream of something more. A land of promise, hope and fire. A future that will lift us higher. This is our land, this is our time. No chains can hold a heart so wild. We rise, we fight, we take our stand for Scotland's future hand in hand. For every voice that's yet to speak, for every heart that still feels weak, we march, we sing, we'll break the chain, we'll never bow, we'll rise again. This is our land, this is our time. No chains can hold a heart so wild. We rise, we fight, we take our stand for Scotland's future hand in hand.
Yo!
Well, I don't know what happened there. Stupid cats. Good evening, Scotland. Good evening, social media land. I hope you're well. It is Friday, the 11th of April 2025, and welcome to Saorsa Live. Tonight we are only streaming again on YouTube because TikTok are being dicks. They still haven't reinstated my live streaming through Streamlabs. I can get it on my phone, no problem. Okay, I can go through TikTok Studio Live, no problem. Can I do it through Streamlabs? So apparently I've got to wait another 21 days. Don't know why. Anyway, I'm glad it's just the one little land here. I'm not sticking between two screens. I might not go back to TikTok. I might just do it on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. Quite like TikTok gang. The TikTok gang are very good. Anyway, we are still recording this live tonight and all the comments for the security and integrity of the live. That is really, really important. Now, this week we've had a lot of fun calling out all those that would rather sit in their comfort zone than truly fight for the liberty of this land of ours. The 2 votes SNP strategy is so contentious. So many people, are very, very for it because they sit in that political bubble and don't see it from the point of view of the national cause. The national cause for me is for everyone, and it's not just those represented by the SNP in this cause. Now, I'm saying that because I am actually an SNP member, an invested SNP member. I go to conferences, I attend as many different events as I possibly can, but I feel a little bit let down. A little bit let down that the Party of Independence is not engaging in a way that could make a massive difference right across the whole of Scotland. Anyway, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to touch on the videos that I made this week and basically just play some cool music as well. But first of all, we do have to play this, as per always, important message. Start our lives with an important reminder that we are fighting one of the world's greatest propaganda machines, the British state and their right-wing oligarch-run media. To combat this, we ask that you always follow, like and share and comment positively across all social media platforms on any of your favourite Scottish independence creators and commentators. By doing this, you help to spread the word of our cause and manipulate social media algorithms to benefit our struggle. So please, for now, like and share this live stream, and if you haven't already, follow this account. Thank you. Cool. Right, let's have a look, see what we got in the boxes. Well, not the boxes, the chit chats just now. If you're wondering why I'm looking over this way, it's because I've got the, what's it called? There we go. See, you guys are all on the laptop here, all right? It's easier to show you like that. Oh, there we go. So I look across there because I've got two screens here in the way I control the live. One that's got something I'm going to show you later on. One that has my notes and the actual software itself. And then the wee laptop here that has YouTube land. So there's Henry, E Scotland, Eddie, Neil, Wolfpet. Kareem, how are you? Hope you're good. There's Ken as well. I saw Lisa there too. So listen, I'm really grateful that you guys always come and hang out for an hour very late on a Friday night. That's just the family dynamic that makes me do it quite late. Perhaps maybe we'll get an earlier live in the summer for a few weeks while family's on holiday. Right, so this whole thing, I'm going to go through and touch on the videos that I made this week, okay, and talk a little bit about each of them and what they were really discussing. Now, I'm not here to upset anybody at all, right? That has never been my intention with regards to Scottish independence activism. I'm here to do my best to push that narrative forward for the national cause, not just for political hegemony. Okay, we need to work as one cause. We don't have to like each other, but we do have to work together. And if we have one little team saying, no, we're only going to work our way, and another little team sort of like getting frustrated and a bit pissed off because that team are not playing their game, and then this team over here thinks that this team's attacking them, do you know something? We're doing the union's job for them. They just have to come in and stir it up a little bit. Regardless, let's talk about what the first video is about. So I'm going to ask, when did fighting for Scottish independence become a loyalty contest instead of a national movement? Because lately it feels that we've got more people gatekeeping than campaigning, more people telling you what not to vote for than actually trying to win this country its freedom. And it's not the unionists I'm talking about, it's people within our own movement, the ones who have decided that if you don't vote the way that they say, then you are fair game for abuse. The ones who think that the second vote belongs to just one party and one party only, and that daring to question that is some kind of crime. Well, here's the truth. I'm a long-time independence activist. I've marched, I've stood in the rain with leaflets, I've run stalls, I've been in rooms discussing and trying to convince undecided voters. I've done it all with pride because I believe in the national cause. Not just a party, not just a slogan, but the cause. But the moment I said publicly last week that I'd be giving my second vote to Alba, boom, the abuse came flying in. I was called a traitor, a troll, a plant. One of them said I was crawling out the woodwork. And you know what? I'm not even surprised anymore. I've seen this play out over and over again. A calm, strategic suggestion shot down by a comment section full of gatekeepers screaming SNP 1 and 2 like it's a holy commandment. I've got some of these comments for you to look at here. So here we go. My goodness, they're all crawling out of the woodwork. What they don't really want you to know is their party is imploding. Now a vote, I recall, has been announced due to cheating allegations, and then they expect us to lend them our second vote. Absolutely no chance. Both votes SNP. That was directed at me saying I'm going to vote for Alba when I'm an SNP member as well. You know, I'm an SNP member for my first vote, I'm an Alba member for my second vote. Where's the harm in that? Where is the reasoning behind that sort of comment? Let's have a look at another image. Okay, this is a good one. This is from Ian Gallagher, all-star contributor. The Alba party is now like Jehovah's Witnesses, knocking from door to door to try and convince people into albatrolls by explaining to them how the second vote works. Albatrolls. So that was one of Ian's posts that you put out across a lot of different groups on Facebook. Albatrolls. Here we have somebody actually alienating a whole segment of the movement that is fighting for the same thing. This is not good at all. Last image. Just keep saying piss off is my advice to any Green or Alba voters asking for second votes. Why are you so aggressive? Why is that necessary to do anything like that? You know, let's be clear. The DeHont voting system exists. It's real. It's how Holyrood elections work. And it means your second vote simply isn't a loyalty badge. It's a chance to strengthen the independence movement with more pro-Scottish voices, whether that be Alba, Greens, ISP, an individual candidate that is pro-independence. Doesn't matter. On the list, they will have more of a chance with more votes because of the way the DeHont system is calculated. We're going to look at that as well. I'm going to show you exactly where it says it on the Holyrood website. I want to ask though, since when did explaining how the system works makes you an enemy of the cause? When did that start happening? The truth is that some people have become more obsessed with defending their party's monopoly than winning independence. And that's what this is really about. Not strategy, not progress. Power, hegemony, and control. Because if they were serious about building a majority for independence, they would welcome any honest conversation about how to do that. Instead, they mock, they ridicule, they accuse, and worst of all, they lie. They lie about how the additional member system works. They lie about what second votes can actually do. And in doing so, they deceive the electorate, not for Scotland's gain, but for party gain. And while they're busy attacking fellow Yes supporters online, real people, undecided voters, are switching off. They see the division, they see the bitterness, and they think, if that's what the independence movement looks like, count me out. Can you blame them? Now, we're going to briefly talk about one of those people's accounts that I've mentioned in those little images. I'm not going to say which one, okay, but you can figure it out for yourself. This particular profile is filled with anti-Putin memes, angry rants, but nothing at all about Scotland. No pictures from marches, no posts about the movement, no history of activism. In fact, this particular account starts at the end of 2021, start of 2022. I showed a whole rundown of this person's account on my video that was out on Monday. I'll put the link for it into the description of this live once we've finished. But you can see on the screen it's scrolling and there's not one post about Scotland, which I find incredibly weird. you know? So I need to ask you, is this who defines the digital movement now? People flexing super users and people with names, like titles under their name on Facebook. You know, it's mental. I think you should just go judge for yourself. Go and have a look around Facebook and see all the top contributors and things like that who are all doing these strange posts that lack any form of unity. It's weird. Anyway, here's the real kicker. Some of these same voices say they represent unity, that they're protecting the movement, but unity based on silence, maybe, on compliance, maybe, unity based on attacking those who step outside the party line. Well, you know something? That is not unity. That is cult-like obedience. And I'm not suggesting the SNP is a cult. Far from it. I'm suggesting cult-like demands for obedience from those that are attacking the critical thinking brothers and sisters of this movement. We need to be better than this. Independence requires a mature, resilient movement, one that welcomes strategy, encourages debate, and sees different independence parties as allies, not as threats. So here's my message to the comment circus. I'm not playing your game. I have no time for petty nonsense. I care about one thing, Scotland's freedom, and I'll use every single tool available to get us there. And that includes using my second vote the way I want to, tactically. That includes telling the truth as well about how the system works. And I will not apologise for putting the national cause first. I will not apologise for believing that the independence matters more than one party's dominance, even if that party is my own party. And if you think that shouting me down makes you the voice of the movement, think again. The real movement is bigger, braver and smarter than you give it credit for. The movement deserves better. Scotland deserves better. And do you know something? I'm not going anywhere.
You watched from behind your banners, like mirrors framed in gold. Called it loyalty, called it purpose, but it just looks tired and old. I stood where you never bothered, in the noise and the pouring rain. And while you posted hashtags, I was building more than blame. Was I meant to ask permission to think a different way? Sorry if my strategy rained on your parade. You said I broke the movement, but it was never yours to break. You clung to your reflection and called it a crusade. I never raised a weapon, I just chose another way. But your loyalty's so brittle, the truth breaks it today. You claimed I crossed a red line by refusing to play your game. But the truth doesn't ask for access, and I've no use for your fame. You preach from crumbling platforms while the grassroots lay the stone. And every time you name a traitor, you stand far more alone. Was I meant to keep on nodding, to keep the peace and stay in line? Is your movement so unstable that my vote becomes a crime? You said I broke the movement, but it was never yours to break. You clung to your reflection and called it a crusade. I never raised a weapon, I just chose another way. But your loyalty's so brittle, the truth breaks it today. The truth breaks it today. something greater. I fight for our national cause. I fight for something greater. I fight for the greater good. You can try to stop the voices, but ideas are bulletproof. The truth breaks in the door.
I'm just looking at the chat there just now, and Doug Kopp, you said something interesting there about Ian. He lives in Florida. Really? Do you think he voted for Trump? My dad lives in Florida. I've got two brothers there as well. That's really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah, you're right. He's a bit of he likes a bit of a wooden spoon and stirs it up a bit. There was also, who else did I see? Somebody, I can't see where it is, but somebody said that a lot of Alba voters understand what's going on and will actually vote SNP1 with their vote. This is what we need. We need that whole discussion, and I know how frustrated a lot of Alba voters are. I'm frustrated. I get frustrated with the lack of direction, and what I like about the SNP is the merits on how they've looked after Scotland as a pro-Scottish party. Now, no political party is perfect, but can you imagine the things that have been achieved by the SNP being achieved by Labour or the Tories in Scotland when they take direction from down south? It's not going to happen. So the way that I look at it all the time when it comes down to this sort of thing is, we have what we have just now. We have the SNP. Do we really want to spend the next 50 years trying to build up another party when most of us will be then in the dirt? Okay, we don't want that. We need to work with what we have politically just now. The SNP, Alba, the Greens, ISP. This is something that is absolutely vital for the political pillar of independence. It's something that we technically don't have a choice if we're serious about independence. Your first vote needs to go to the party that has the best chance in the constituencies, and there's only one party of independence that is fielding in every single constituency, and that is the SNP. Your second vote, okay, no matter what happens with the SNP, if a chunk of us, like a good, if say 40% of the people that would normally vote SNP voted for Alba or the Greens or something else, you're going to see a massive increase of pro-Scottish MSPs with their bums on the seats in Holyrood that have come in through the list. That's a good thing. We need to make Holyrood pro-Scottish. We need to minimalise the pantomime voices of the union who take their orders from down south. It's something that we just have to get on board with. We secure the political pillar for 5 years when we do this. We need to do this. That means we can then invest, let them get on with that job and argue like cat and dog in Holyrood. Just, who cares? That's them done. We need to, then we forget about them. Then we go and help prop up the international pillar. That is the Declaration of a Sovereign Scot, that's liberation.scot, and even the political sort of offices that the SNP have set up. Okay, write to them, encourage them. It sounds ridiculous, but all these little things are very motivational for the people that work in these places. By doing that, we automatically work on the third pillar, which is the grassroots people, you and me, doing the right things, doing the right job. That's what it's about. It's not a difficult concept. We are a national cause, not a political movement. And we need to get over that and get with the programme in all seriousness. Okay, Part 2. Okay, I'm going to start by saying this. If you've been in the movement long enough, you'll know exactly the kind of comment I'm about to show you. Let me bring it up just now. There we go. Wait, now, is that the right one? Where are we? We need to be on that and then that. There you are. So, to be honest, you really do not want true independence. That's why you are giving Alba your second vote. What? I don't want independence. That's why I'm giving Alba my second vote. No. You, sir, are a plant from the unionist side and easily found out what your aim 9s. Aim 9s? I think he meant to say is, but 9s came up. Right, okay. You say something the herd doesn't like, something honest, something strategic, maybe even challenging, and out comes, you're a unionist plant. Seriously, I've stood in the wind and the rain, and well, if you know me, I've been at the marches, you know what I do online, okay? I have shouted down my megaphone at rallies until my voice has been hoarse. I've given everything I have got as an activist to this movement, and I still have not even touched the reserves of my energy. But because I said I'd give my second vote to Alba, that makes me a unionist. Unionist, grow up. What would have happened if I said I was giving my second vote to the Greens? You think that I would have got this? I'm going to do that next week. I've changed my mind. I'm going to give my second vote to the Greens and see what comes back. Do you think I'm going to get the same amount of backlash? Is it just because it's Alba? It's all weird, isn't it? Anyway, this is part of the independence movement nobody wants to talk about. The part that is slowly poisoning it from the inside. The part where people who have done nothing, no activism, no outreach, no proper campaigning, feel entitled to sit online and police the rest of us. Where loyalty to a party has become more important than loyalty to the cause. Where, well, when you challenge that loyalty, what do? They just go on social media and ridicule you. It's why? Why can't they just go, why do you believe that way, Mo? Why do you want to give your vote to Alba? I'm glad you asked. You know, this is important. They'll say that you're dividing the movement and they'll call you a traitor, a troll, a disruptor, and the latest one, a unionist plant. Has anybody else been called that before, a unionist, because you've said something that our internal independence status quo people don't like, that you've been called something stupid? Tell me in the side chat. I'd like to know. All right, this is really important. But honestly, I couldn't give two hoots about these cheap shots. I've been around long enough to know the difference between an honest disagreement and a desperate deflection. And that's all this is, deflection. Because deep down, they know the system doesn't support their narrative anymore. I want to show you a quick video that I made that was part of another video that I put out this week, which shows me and a few people that you might already know. When someone accuses you of being a unionist plant, they best do a wee bit of research, or otherwise they may look a bit silly. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with some of Scotland's most amazing activists. If you don't know who these people are, then can you actually call yourself an activist? Also, Saorsa, the digital team I put together, are also affiliated with Believe in Scotland, which was founded by Gordon McIntyre Kemp, another leading Scottish independence activist. I have also had the pleasure of chatting about independence with many of our SNP leadership at both conference and other events, including coaching our present First Minister on how to use the checkouts at my Asda. He was a fast learner, and we had a very good chat about the future of our nation. You know something, it's really not my credibility that's in question here, but I like to show that to say, is it after midnight? Can I swear yet? Well, no. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. What a ridiculous concept to turn around and say to anybody that goes on marches, that is a proper activist, that created a team of incredible people, young people, older people, cool as hell people that believe in Scottish independence. I am so proud to rub shoulders with you guys. You have no idea. It's me getting up in the morning with the energy that I have comes from you, because I don't want to let yous down, because I want to keep pushing and not stopping. Now, I also want to point out that for my effort back in 2014 during the independence referendum for digital activism, I was invited to go to the Indy Ref count party at Dynamic Earth. Now, if you had watched the recent documentary on the anniversary of Indy Ref that had Nicola Sturgeon and the late Alex Salmond in it, okay, there's a part about 3/4 of the way through where they're talking about how the result was coming in and they were a bit nervous, and at some point it was obvious that they'd lost it and everything. And the camera switches between Alex and Nicola and Alex backwards and forwards, and in between there's shots of outside of Dynamic Earth, and you can see me in there. Okay, so it's weird as hell. I use this in the video. That's me there. That is me right there in my kilt. Okay, that's not me in the stripy dress. There's Alex. That's also not me. Okay, that's definitely not. There's me again. There's me again making social media content, okay, for the cause afterwards, telling people how I felt the fact that we've just lost. I was there till 4 a.m. I watched Alex Salmond give his speech acknowledging that we'd lost. It was heartbreaking, utterly heartbreaking. There was probably about over 1,000 people, maybe a wee bit less, in that room, in the big foyer part of Dynamic Earth. And these were the hardcore activists, the collective that did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, did a lot of stuff right in people's faces, a lot of digital work. We were devastated like the rest of us. We were heartbroken, and we thought, what was the point? You know, if the union can come in and promise the vow and all that nonsense, all the lies, we could see through it all. It took me 2 years to even consider doing any activism. It was a good thing, because I met the woman that became my wife during that time. Just mad. What brought me back to activism was being dragged out of the EU when we voted to stay in. That made me angry. Very angry, you know. Anyway, let's move on. That there is just, I didn't even know that I was in that documentary. It was somebody that says, I've just watched that Alex and Nicola thing, and that's you outside Dynamic Earth. And I went, shut up. I went and looked at it and went, holy crap, so it is. Anyway, as I said before, my integrity is intact. However, I do expect some sort of nonsense to come back regarding the 2 little snippets that I just said there. You know, the lady doth protest too much sort of nonsense. No, I'm not protesting. I'm laying down a challenge. Can you say that you've done the same things, you bunch of 1 and 2 voting weirdos? Okay? Where is the strength of the cause? I don't like calling people's names. I don't like doing it, but I find it really weird that you cannot see the bigger picture. It makes me sort of sidestep and think, are you actually truly independence activists? I want to believe that you are, you know? Anyway, the additional member system does allow for tactical voting, and that's a fact, and they just don't want people to know that, because if the public understands how the second vote works, the grip of one party weakens, and for some of them, that is utterly terrifying. So we're going to have a quick look, okay, at where you can get the information so you can go and tell other people. The link for the following webpage that I'm going to navigate to is already in the description of this live stream, but let us go to internet camera. Right, here we go. Okay, so I've already put in the Scottish Parliament here. Okay, and this is where we're going to go. This is the official Scottish Parliament website. We click here onto that. Oh, look, there is the Scottish Parliament website. Look at those fancy windows and the looking like an autumnal tree on the side. Isn't that a beautiful wee picture there? I like that. Right. When we get here, we are going to go to get involved, which is at the top there. And then we're going to go down to education. This is really important. Once we've in education, we want to go to education resources. That's this bit here. We're still on the government webpage, by the way. You know that? I mean, this stuff is available for everybody to go and find and look at themselves. But no, you're going to take the word of people quoting percentages, because that's what they want you to believe how your second vote is calculated, on percentages. Nonsense. Utter nonsense. Okay, so we want to then go, once we're in education resources, okay, we want to go down to resources on this website. And the most important ones are the interactive resources here. And finally, God, it's a long way to navigate, isn't it? I mean, it's a good job you've got somebody like me that's just got one link in the description for you to click on instead of going through all that. But this is just me showing you where to go. So if anybody says, oh, he just made that little presentation up. Nonsense again, utter nonsense. Let's go back to the internet. Oh, push the wrong button. There we go. Magic. Right, so we're going down to the one that says the additional member system with a little picture of Einstein on it. All right. And then you just have a couple of little links. Now, the two that are important is this one here, explore the interactive resource, which we're going to look at, and then this one here, which is a downloadable documents that tells you how to calculate the regional results. But we're going to have fun. We're going to go to this one here, because this is the one with Einstein in it. And we're not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to go through parts of it to show you something. Hey, now, hold on before we begin. To let you know, right, the speech bubbles coming out of Einstein's mouth, right, I've done a voiceover and turned this presentation into a video. That link is not in the description, but it will be after this live, all right? Because for people that don't want to read it, they just want to sit back, smoke a cigar, watch Einstein, you know, that might be a bit easier. And it's probably easier for people to share as well, all right? And then you can tell them, go to that particular, and there's links for everything in the description of that video too. Right, back to Einstein. Hi, let me explain what it is. Okay, this is about the additional member system. It is a form of proportional representation. It is a form which aims to make the results of an election reflect more closely to the amount of votes cast for each party or individual. Please take note when I say this, right? It aims to make the results of an election reflect more closely the amount of votes. It won't do it 100%, okay? Anyway, the AMS combines first past the post in the constituencies and a regional system which elects a further 56 additional members. These are things that we already know. So let me explain. We are all quite happy, okay, that we live in Scotland, okay? Scotland, okay, that's us, right? And we all know that we have 2 votes. Look at that, there's a voter. Brilliant, okay? One is your constituency vote, the other is your regional vote. It's 2 separate ballot papers. Astounding. Okay, this vote, which is your what's it called? Your constituency vote, elects your local MSP. Okay, and we know how that works. The person with the most votes wins. Amazing. There's nothing complicated about that. And you use your second vote to vote for a political party or a candidate standing as an individual within a larger electoral area known as a region. Hold on a second. People that are advocates of SNP 1 and 2 voting would say that voting for another party or an individual is gaming the system. It says just there right now on the Holyrood website, on the presentation used by school kids, that you can do that. Where is it saying that that is gaming the friggin' system? Honestly, for real. Okay. Right, okay, so the region is made up of several constituencies. It's usually 8, 9 constituencies, okay? And they count all the regional votes up. And then they use this formula called the d'Hondt formula. It sounds complicated, but truly when you get your head round it, it is not. I want to ask you all a little question right now. Has anybody seen anything about percentages so far? Have you? Seen anything about percentages? And they use percentages to calculate this. Do they? Do they really? No, they don't. Okay, I feel quite passionate about this. That's why I've got a very sarcastic tone when I'm talking about this, right? Okay, right. So anyway, he was a Belgian mathematician that made this up. I don't really care, to be perfectly honest. But this is how it works. Hey, okay, so regional seats are decided using the d'Hondt formula, which is your regional votes, not, and I repeat, not anything to do with the votes that you cast on the candidate in the constituency. Does it say anything about the constituency there? No, it doesn't. All right. Regional seats are decided using the d'Hondt formula, which is regional votes divided by the number of MSPs already won in that region plus 1. Is that not what we have been saying forever? I'm feeling quite animated. Can you tell? It frustrates the crap out of me why people don't get this at all. Okay. The party or person with the largest number after this formula is applied wins the round and wins 1 regional MSP. This formula will be used 7 times in 7 rounds to elect 7 regional MSPs. Still nothing about percentages calculating the MSPs on the list. Not one solitary iota. Okay, good. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples of this and then we'll come off this and go through the rest of it, the show tonight. Okay, so let's go to round 1. Okay, take an example of a region. Okay, so this region is called Anywhere. It's made up of 9 constituencies. The voters could choose between 6 political parties: pink, spotty, black, striped, purple, and the white party. Okay, dead easy. Okay, the pink party won 8 of these constituencies and the black party won the other. So there you go. Please, 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 please pay attention to the pink party and how their votes are separated out. Okay, this is absolutely vital for those that may not fully get the d'Hondt system. Okay, and I'm not being condescending towards you. It took me a while to get my head around it. Way back when they first put it in, I was like, where can I read about this? And I did, and then I got it, okay? And I'm really sad because I've got a formula and a spreadsheet that basically I can put the data in for any Scottish election, play with the votes and see how that comes out. And there's only been one situation where it's ever been good for the SNP, and that was 2011. And to replicate that, we would have to lose a shitload of constituency seats. A shitload. Okay, and if that's what they want, that's fine. But we'll talk about SNP and constituency votes later on. Okay, that's important too. Right, back to the Einstein. Right, so pink party won 8 and black party won the other 1. So let's look at the numbers and where they come from. The regional vote, the pink party got 99,000 votes. It gained 8 constituency seats. So 99,000 votes divided by their 8 constituency seats plus 1. So they were divided by 9. So they start round 1 with 11,000 votes. Okay, crazy. I had a guy turn around and say to me about the northeast of Scotland, saying, but the SNP would have got a list seat if Alba, people hadn't voted for Alba, and all 8,000 of Alba's votes had come to the SNP. No, mate. All right. 9 seats were won by the SNP. Okay. Plus 1 makes 10. It means those 8,000 votes would have been reduced to 800. And then when you put that through the 7 rounds, guess how many seats the SNP won with those extra 800, not 8,000, 800 votes? None. Not a solitary iota. But the funny thing is, if the SNP votes, all of them, were to go to another independence party on the list only, they would have started off with, like, let's say for instance, we'll just use this as an example here, just now, let's go back. Okay, so say for instance, those 99,000 votes went to a party that did not win a single constituency seat or deliberately did not field a single constituency candidate. They would have started off in the list with 99,000 votes. That's the difference. No percentages. Just votes. Just votes. Right, okay, so they start off with 11,000. So we're going to finish up in a second for this particular example, so we can move on with the actual main body of my script. Okay, so Pink Party started with 11,000, Spotty Party had absolutely no constituency seats won. They had 85,000 votes. Okay, so they start with 85,000 votes. So yeah, guess what? They actually win that round. Now, in the next round, the Spotty Party will have 1 seat already won. Okay, let's just go through and show you. Here's the results. Magical. Right, so times 7 rounds, number blah blah blah. Round 2, the Spotty Party divisor will change as they have won an MSP in round 1. Okay, so remember the Spotty Party had 85,000 votes. Now they have an actual seat, so it's 1 plus 1, so 85,000 is divided by 2 essentially. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing there, not one solitary thing about percentages. Crazy. So now ask yourself this, knowing that not one of those individuals who are pushing for SNP 1 and 2 ever tell you to go and look up how the calculation for the list is made, what does that tell you? What does it tell you? I just showed you it live here and how easy it is to educate yourself. If someone would rather lie to the electorate than risk losing dominance, okay, do they actually care about independence? Or what do they actually truly care about? They act like there's no space for honest discussion, like there's only one route to freedom and it's wrapped in their party colours. That is not leadership, that is not strategy, that's cowardly behaviour. They're afraid. They're afraid to move forward, afraid to have Westminster come down on us like a ton of bricks. Screw that. We are in a rebellion against that nonsense. Now, if we were to let that dominate the yes movement would be finished. And they have the audacity to call me a plant by talking about how the system works, about wanting to give my second vote to a party that will potentially gain more seats and help further the cause. No thanks. That's utterly, utterly ridiculous. If it offends you, if it offends them, maybe they should just ask themselves why, and ask if their anger is really about what I said or about what I'm revealing. Because if your first instinct is to smear rather than engage, you're not acting for Scotland, you're acting for your own insecurity. And I'm not here for that. I'm not here to babysit your insecurities. I'm here for every undecided voter we have not reached yet, every activist who's been silenced, and every one of us who wants a mature and strategic movement built on truth and not political worship. This is bigger than you, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than one political party. It's about Scotland and her future, her freedom. And I truly hope that's where these people's loyalty actually lies.
I said I'd vote for a pro-Scottish win, that's no curse. Then came all the screaming, guess I triggered something worse. They called me a deceiver, said I'd sold the nation out. Funny how the faithful always seem to scream and shout. I read the rules, I broke no vow, but you can't handle the reason how. If I'm a traitor, where's your proof? You are running scared and fear the truth. I'm a unionist plant, didn't you know? Here to split the vote and steal the show. I read the system, that's my crime. I don't salute your party line. So burn the witch, accuse the saint, but we all know your words are a feint. But you lose and want someone to blame. Look in the mirror, say your name. You shout both votes S&P like it's a holy command, while Westminster stitch us up with their union hands. And you mock the ones who knock the doors, call them trolls with schemes. But who's the one dividing now, tearing up the dream? You don't want answers, just control. A flag wrapped throne, a true own goal. You're more obsessed with being right than seeing Scotland win the fight. I'm a unionist plant, didn't you know? Here to split the vote and steal the show. I read the system, that's my crime. I don't salute your party line. So burn the witch, accuse the saint, but we all know your words are a feint. But you lose and want someone to blame. Look in the mirror and say your name. Projection's such a clever trick, make someone else the heretic. But if you hate a different view, what kind of freedom's that to you? I'm a unionist plant, agent provocateur, breaking up your echo chamber, showing it's not pure. You call it faith, I call it spin. You'd rather lose than take help to win. So keep your lies and shout me down. Scotland is bigger than your fake crown. And when the truth comes breaking through, you'll see the real traitor was you.
Boom, boom. Here we go. Is that back on? Yes, magic. I mute that while while the song's on, because I'm stretching and I'm drinking coffee all at the same time. Listen, I'm sorry that I went on a rant there a second ago with the middle part of tonight's show. It's important though, it really is. And you know, if you have any issues with anybody that's causing you havoc on social media about SNP1 and 2, if you're an advocate for your second vote going to a pro-Scottish party, get in touch. You know, I'll send you the links, I'll send you everything I've got happily. You know, if you want me to show you a one-to-one session on Discord of my spreadsheets and different sort of models and things, I'm happily going to do that as well. anything to educate people to understand how it works better. All our songs that we play here are also available on our website, which is saorsascott.com. Look for the wee link at the top that says music player. I think Barry's talking about that. There's a link actually in the side chat just now. Barry is our man behind the screen. He is a digital guru, an alchemist with everything that is code, and does everything for me behind the scenes digitally. He's a good guy. He's one of the good guys, and I love him to pieces, like a brother. Okay, right, let's move on to the last little part, because we're going to run over tonight, and there's something else I'm going to do as well. I've really gone a bit too far, haven't I? A bit long. Right, anyway, where are we? Where is part 3? I've lost it. There we go. Right, so here's something, right? What if the real revolution isn't rage in the streets, but wisdom at the ballot box? Because what we're doing in 2026 is not about political loyalty. It's about liberation. And this is not about dividing the vote. It's about using it to deliver a pro-Scottish government and a pro-Scottish opposition in Holyrood. One that isn't beholden to Westminster, that doesn't have those wee whiny panto voices from the likes of Jackie Baillie and whoever the weird guy is that runs the Tories now. True independence is not delivered by echo chambers that social media super users live in. It doesn't live in the likes and shares or algorithms. It lives in action, in movement, and in strategy. We've reached a point where loyalty without strategy is now sabotage, the kind that keeps the union safe and our parliament weak, the kind that silences voices and punishes critical thinking. The people shouting both votes for one party like it's gospel aren't defending the movement. They're defending their comfort zone. They're shouting down the one thing that could make Holyrood stronger, and that is choice. Real democratic choice. And yet, here we are, accused of betrayal for trying to use both votes smartly, for wanting to weaken the unionist influence and weaken each other, for daring to believe that Scotland is bigger than any party logo, that the second vote, that regional vote, is not a protest, it's a revolutionary act. It's how we make sure that Holyrood belongs to Scotland and not just the party machines that have grown used to your silence. We're done asking for permission from Westminster, from gatekeepers, from those who would rather win arguments than win freedom. And it starts at the polling booth, and not with slogans, but with purpose. Because it's our moments of struggle that define us. How we handle them is what truly matters. And from that, I believe no matter what happens, the fight will still go on. I believe the revolution will grow because of people like you, the people I am privileged to rub shoulders with, the ones who call themselves activists, the ones that will never give up, that will never give up. But if you choose to give up, that's your decision. If you choose to remain in your comfort zone, then understand this: you will achieve nothing other than a top contributor badge under your name on Facebook. But it's not too late. It's never too late to step off the hegemonous path of party politics and understand that politics is just one tool, one way we express our national identity, and we need more. We can't sit back and rely on politics alone. We need activism that inspires, not conspires. We need politicians who will walk beside us, not above us. And we need the international pillar to keep fighting. And we need you, because your second vote is not small. It's not secondary. It's your personal revolution. And I hope that you understand that. I really, really do.
They draw the line minds, they call the shots. Take what's ours and leave us not. But we see through their tired game. Scotland's rising won't be tamed. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence. No more waiting, no more chains. We'll stand together, break the race. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence, for independence. They say we're small, they say we're weak, but listen close. When Scotland speaks, our wealth is strong, our hearts are true. We know exactly what to do. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence. No more waiting, no more chains. We'll stand together, break the race. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence, for independence. No more lies, no more lies, no more fear, no more fear. Our time is now. Our day is here. The future's ours. Let's take the call. We rise as one. We rise for all. We build the wind, we sail the seas, we feed the world, we plant the trees. Scotland's future, bold and bright. Time to stand and claim our right. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence, for independence. They say we're small, they say we're weak, but listen close. When Scotland speaks, our wealth is strong, our hearts are true. We know exactly what to do. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence. No more waiting, no more chains. We'll stand together, break the race. Scotland is ready. Scotland is ready for independence, for independence. Independence, for independence.
Cool. Right, I'm just going to do a bit of jiggery pokery here just now. Dun 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 dun. Let's just see who we got. There is the Aaron. Astounding. Where is the Dave? The Dave. Dave, where are you? Is it just going to be me and the handsome Aaron tonight? I mean, oh, there's the Dave. There's the Dave. Right, so that'll be okay. Okay, no, yeah, okay. Cancel. Brilliant. Right, show and stream. Yeah, I think we're ready. Hold on a wee second. We have a few people coming in for a chat tonight. Okay, I better get my headphones on for this one. Are you okay, gentlemen?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that you're all working. Can everybody hear Aaron? Aaron, give us a song.
No.
Dave, how are
No.
you?
And Scotland is ready blaring on the telly, and that was it.
It's a good song, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant, man.
I
Hey,
love
I
it.
can see myself on the telly.
Look, Ma, I'm on the telly. Listen, don't get distracted by your good looks, because you're too distracting for me as it is when it goes on. Listen, we had a nice live last week where most of it was bringing a good few of us on. I'm going to be bringing people in more often, and I want to thank Dave, who's in the bottom box down there. Say hi, Dave.
Hiya.
Good, it's everything's working, and Aaron above there as well. I've known Aaron and Dave for a long time. They are proper hardcore activists as well, and I'm going to ask you both straight up, how do you feel about when people are told that, you know, like yourselves, you're activists, okay, how do you feel when people are told that they're unionists by people who turn round and belittle the movement anyway? Aaron?
Oh, it doesn't make any sense when you try and tactically vote to get a pro-Scottish opposition in, and you get called a unionist. Why? Because the party that you vote for is losing power. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
But they're not really losing power, are they? Because what's happening is we're getting more MSPs in, that are
They think they're
pro-Scottish.
losing power,
You know?
sorry.
Yeah, it's mental. What do you think
That's
about
right.
it all, Dave?
Well, I find it really irritating when you try to educate people about the system and how it actually works, and they turn around and call you a unionist. Personally, I think that's a serious insult.
It is. It's mental. You've been called worse on TikTok. You really have. I've seen some of the things, and your amazing little sort of like responses to people when you sort of go, okay, and that's like, that's it. Get the popcorn out. Dave's going to have a go at somebody. It's going to be fun here. Nah, it's something else. I find the whole thing baffling. Are we not all supposed to be on the same side? You know, that's what it's all about. I'm not going to ask you who you're going to give your second vote for, but I will ask you: are you going to vote for the same party in both?
Absolutely not.
What about you, Aaron?
No?
Okay, good. And I want to ask you is why? Why would you not give both your votes to one party?
Well,
Dave, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
I won't do it because I did it. I made the mistake once before of doing that, and it seriously backfired. Admittedly, at the time when I did it, I didn't really know anything about the voting system in Scotland
Mm-hmm.
because I hadn't really looked it up at how it actually works.
Mm-hmm.
But it seriously backfired where I live because we ended up with a unionist party in charge.
Yeah.
On you go. What were you going to say?
No,
mate?
I just went right when he says unionist party.
Unionist party. So there is a couple of places in Scotland where SNP 1 and 2 would probably have an impact, and that's the south of Scotland. Lewis, who was on last week, he lives in his constituencies in the south of Scotland, so I would advise him to vote both votes SNP. Simply because it's probably going to be, when I looked at the accumulation of the polls that have been done over the past year for Holyrood voting intentions, looks like there's only going to be one list seat, and that's going to be from the south of Scotland, according to these polls. And that's what I'm going to be doing next week. I'm going to be looking at why are we not campaigning hardcore, full force for SNP to win in the constituencies. If they look like they're going to get about 55 seats, but why are we accepting that? Okay, one of those seats is going to be a list seat, so that's 54 in the constituencies. We should not be accepting that as a defeat. We should be campaigning exceptionally hard for them to win in the constituencies. That's how I feel about it all, as a whole. Right, so are we revolutionaries then, boys, by using our second vote for a different party?
I would like to think so.
Friggin' right we are. Okay, but it goes beyond that though, as well, in my opinion. It goes beyond it because the whole idea of sitting on Facebook, and as we've discovered, Ian E. Gallagher sitting on Facebook in Florida. That's where he lives, apparently. Can you believe that? That's mental. Okay. That's it. He's got no credibility now. You can't say that he doesn't even have a vote. You know, he's sitting in Florida. He doesn't even have a vote if he's sitting over there, living over there. You know. Anyway, regardless, okay. We've got people that will be sitting there, and they are just plugging for the hegemony of the political element, the SNP 1 and 2. You know that I'm an SNP member. You know that I don't dislike them. I like them. I wouldn't be a member otherwise. But I don't see them as revolutionary. I see them as basically political animals just sitting there squabbling about, well, my party will deliver independence. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Tell me how you feel about this, guys, please.
I'm lost for words with most of them just giving dogs abuse to people who don't want a unionist opposition in, you know. So both votes SNP. In some places it does work, as you says, but other places it's not going to work. you know, where it's really safe for the SNP. But in places like Glasgow, it's probably better to vote SNP 1 and Alba 2, like I did before. Unintentionally tactically voted.
I think my opinion is the SNP should remove all their list candidates. So they don't need to say vote for Alba or vote for the Greens or vote for anybody else. Just remove them, give a wee wink, move on. You know, Dave, what do you think?
Well, now that I know how the system works, I find it absolutely mind-boggling that people just simply don't get it, are not getting the message. Some obviously do get the message, but there's still a lot of people out there who just don't seem to get it.
It's a shame. And a lot of people will sit down and will believe somebody with top contributor underneath their name on Facebook over the facts of the links that I showed you all earlier on, that whole thing on the Holyrood website. It drives me bananas, utterly bananas. Right, I don't think there's much more that we can really talk about. I just wanted to get your input on everything like that there. So is there anything else you want to add to the conversation tonight before we move on? Because we're not going to stay on long because we have other things to do.
Well, one thing I want to actually say, Mo, is, and I'm not going to say the accounts that are involved, but there was one that you mentioned during your thing about the fact that he's coming out with his stuff and yet there's not one of his videos about independence.
Yeah.
Well, I found he was following me.
What, on TikTok or YouTube?
On TikTok.
What are you talking about? The Ian man?
Yeah, and he's not following me anymore though, because I've unfollowed him.
That's funny. I knew he had an account. I found his account as well, but I could not see his account through my Saorsa account. I had to go through one of my troll accounts to go and actually find him, and I found him, and there he is. So I don't have him blocked. He must have me blocked. Now, I don't want to give this energy vampire any more of our energy. The fact that we've discovered tonight from somebody in the side chat that he lives in Florida means that, you know, anytime he puts anything up, it'll be a case of like, mate, you don't even live in Scotland, so go and shut up. You know, that's where it's going to come from. So, you know, it's just mental to think that that's the case. An activist living in Florida. Got anything you want to finish? On you go.
I was going to say, it's when you get Scottish people living in England saying, no, you can't have your independence. Like, you don't live here. Go away.
Yeah, they don't get a vote.
That's mental.
You know what I mean? You're nothing today with Scotland. You don't live here. You live in England. Shut up. Go away.
It's crazy.
And my last thing I want to say before we go away is, I lost my train of thought there. SNP 1, any other indie party 2. Don't vote for yourself. Vote for Scotland.
Vote for Scotland. That there, just whenever anybody puts a post out, anybody that's still listening in the side chat just now, use the hashtag vote for Scotland over the next year. Whenever you put a post out that is about pro-Scotland stuff for independence, just use that hashtag. I've been using it now for about 6 months. Let's get that hashtag up there so when people go and click on that hashtag, they see everything possible that is positive about SNP1, any other independence party 2. Vote for Scotland should be the slogan for that. Vote for Scotland.
Well, all my Indy videos that I've been posting over the last few months, that's the only hashtag that's been used.
You're a good guy, Dave. You're a good guy. Right, I am going to say thank you very much to Dave and Aaron for joining us at the end. We will be including... What?
No bother, that's what I says.
No bother. You're such a distraction with your handsome face. You know that?
I know.
You can't... It's like you just have to grunt and I'm like, oh, he spoke to me. He's so handsome. You know?
and that's most sucking that run for the day.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's funny. Right, so thank you, gentlemen. We will be doing more lives with more people coming on. We've got a good team in the Saorsa Discord. Next week, we will probably ask more people to come on. I will maybe do half the amount of talking. Is that possible?
No.
Thanks, guys. Very much so. So we can get a good discussion going, because Kareem wanted to come on. We can get that arranged, Kareem. We can quite happily do that. But it needs to be done in advance so I can come on. It's not like a jump in and jump out sort of thing for this. But yeah, there we go. Right, I'm going to switch you guys off. I will be jumping across the Discord, so hopefully I'll see a couple of you in Discord there, and I will continue the chat and wrap up the show. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay. Good night.
We like that. We like having people come on and tell us their opinions. We want to do more of that. I also want to maybe do a current affairs sort of pre-recorded show to put out another night during the week. But that takes up an awful lot of time. And I've just had all of my shifts have changed slightly at work, so I'm still getting around my workflow, changing my workflow for independence around those as well, which is cool. Alex Adamo, you not talk as much. I plead the fifth. Alex, thank you. No, I never shut up. I can't help it. I talk far too much. Barry will vouch for that very much. So listen, everybody that's in the chat, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It means an awful lot when we get people having a good conversation in the side chat. We will get to a time where I can do earlier shows. During the summer, my wife is away for 5 weeks. I will be able to do a much earlier show, which during that time for 5 weeks at least, which will be good for building up support over the summer, so we can basically make the Saorsa team grow a little bit. I want to say as well, while we're on here, we do have a Discord as well, and you need to get in touch if you want to do this. Now you can get, I would say recommend the info@Saorsa Scott. If you have a Discord account already, you need to send me your full Discord name. That is the whole thing, with the numbers and the hashtag. I can't get it to work on my Discord otherwise, right? I will then friend you, you friend me back. I will then send you a link to join our Discord server, because that's where we hang out after this sort of thing. You can also find all of our social media here. Okay, there's the YouTube, we've got a TikTok, we've got Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram. And if you don't want to write them down from here, you just go to lazylinks.co.uk/Saorsa and you can actually join us there. Okay, you can see all the links there. Now, Lazy Links is like Linktree, but better because Barry made it. Awesome. And of course, if you want to go and find our music, just go to saorsascott.com and look for the music player in the top of the page and just click on it and you can download all the songs there. I'm quite happy for anybody to use any of the songs for anything. Okay, brilliant. So, good night, one and all. Thank you for joining us, and yeah, have a good night. Oh, it's not ending. There we go.
We walk through the echoes of battles long past, footsteps still ringing, the die has been cast. The voices of giants still call out our name. Their words in the silence still whisper the same. Oh, we carry the flame, we carry it high, a light in the dark, a hope in the sky. Not one hand alone, not one heart apart. If we stand together, we make a new start. The road isn't easy, the weight isn't small. Too long we've been waiting, too often we fall. But the truth doesn't waver, the stars do not lie. This land is our own, We don't